welcome back to my kitchen. So throughout this whole COVID experience, I have been trying new recipes. And some were wins and some were fails. However, this recipe was a big win. Not just because I loved it, but my entire family loves this. So I had found a recipe that was similar to what we're doing and I adapted it for my family. The recipe is Thai coconut curry chicken. And I'm excited to share it with you today. So I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to pull my hair back and I'm going to put on my apron and we're going to cook together. All right, so let's talk about the ingredients. So we're going to start with the vegetables. Now you can choose different vegetables than I've picked, but I find that this combination just works really, really well together for this recipe. So let's start. The vegetables that you're going to use in this is one bell pepper. I used an orange, but I've used both red and yellow. They're both fine. They all taste good. This is 2 carrots, not really shredded, but sliced, very, very thin into strips. And then it's about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of green beans. And then snap peas, the sugar snap peas, and it's about 1.5 cups of those. And those are the veggies you're going to use. And like I said, you can vary it, but I think this is the right combination for these flavors. All right, then we're going to talk about the spices. So you're going to want to use the coriander, the ground coriander, and it's 2 teaspoons of this. This you're going to want to pick up, and it's the key ingredient along with the coconut milk is the red curry paste. And then salt and pepper. I use fresh minced garlic, and it's about 3 teaspoons of it, but it also is 3 cloves. So if you want to use fresh, you can do that. And then I use 3 teaspoons of ginger. If you're not a huge ginger fan, you can cut it down to 2 teaspoons, but I use 3. And then coconut milk, 1/2 of a lime, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And of course, if you're making chicken coconut curry, and you can do this with tofu or no meat at all, I would do about 2 pounds of diced, boneless, skinless chicken breast. So those are all the ingredients. And now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cook our chicken. Okay, so I'm going to start cooking the chicken, and how I do that is I'm going to turn this to medium, and I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in, just so I don't burn and it doesn't stick. Just move around my pan a little bit, and then I'm going to add my chicken. Just like that. Mix it up. All right, this is going to take roughly 20 minutes and I'm going to watch it. However, while I watch it, I'm going to put a lid on this so it cooks a little faster. And while I continue to watch, I'm going to wash my hands now. I'm going to rinse this out, and then I'm going to combine some of my ingredients. And the reason I do that is because this moves kind of quick once the chicken is cooked. So I like to combine things. So why don't we talk about what we combine to make your life easier? Okay, so while our chicken is cooking, I want to talk about the things that I do to prep and make it easier when I start combining the ingredients, because like I mentioned before, it does go very fast. So one of the first things I do is I take all my vegetables and I set them next to the chicken, and then I also take the salt and pepper and put it over there because I will salt and pepper that chicken before I start adding things. And then I put the brown sugar over there as well because that is the last ingredient we're going to need. In the meantime, I have combined a few things. So one of the first things I combined I want to talk about, and that is the red curry paste and the coconut milk. Now, something I want to know, if you are not used to using canned coconut milk, I was not before the pandemic, is that it solidifies in the can sometimes. So don't be alarmed if that happens. You just whisk it together. And the red curry paste, how much you use really varies. So they say 1 to 3 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons being almost half a jar. How much spice do you like and how much do you like red curry paste? You can do just 1 tablespoon. It'll be less spicy and have less of a curry flavor, but still delicious, and you can do up to 3. I like a little spice in my life, so 3. I combined those things together, whisked them together in a pourable measuring cup, but you could use anything that you could just pour in. And then the next thing I did is I combined the garlic, the ginger, and the coriander. Now it was, just to review, it was 3 teaspoons of minced fresh ginger, 3 teaspoons or 3 cloves of minced garlic, and 2 teaspoons of coriander. I put those together because when the chicken is done, I'm going to salt and pepper it, and then I'm going to dump these on and coat the chicken in these spices. And the last little thing I did, which goes right before the brown sugar, is I just cut the lime. So you need about a tablespoon of lime, depending on the size of your lime. It's about half a lime usually. So I went ahead and cut it so it's easy for me to just squeeze all over it. You could also just buy the juice, the lime juice, and just pour a tablespoon out as well. So those are the things I did. I'm going to move them over by the stove and wait for my chicken to get done, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the chicken is nice and cooked through, and so the next step is to add our ginger, our coriander, and our garlic, and we're going to coat it. So I have it all combined right here. I'm just going to sprinkle this over the top. It's going to get very fragrant in here. Not only is it going to get fragrant, but my children are going to smell it, and I'm going to be asked what's for dinner in a second. Now I'm just going to toss this all together and throw some stuff on the stove, because by now everyone knows I'm messy. And just going to let this cook once I've tossed it. I'm just going to keep tossing it for about 2 minutes here, and then we'll move on to the next step. Just keep on doing it just like this to make sure it's all coated and not burning. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to add all the vegetables, and then we're going to add the coconut milk and the curry paste. But first, I'm going to add all these veggies one by one. Just do this. Now I do want to say, as I do this, this meal can be vegan. If you don't use the chicken and substitute tofu because you're using coconut milk and olive oil, no butter, no dairy, it can be vegan. And you also don't even need the tofu. In fact, you can just skip the whole chicken process and add those spices directly to the vegetables and cook it that way. So this is a nice meal that you can cook if you are vegan or you have friends coming over that are vegan. This is what I would cook for them personally. Now that I've added all the vegetables, I'm going to toss it up, and then I'm going to salt and pepper it before I add the milk mixture. All right, set this down. I'm going to salt and pepper this. It's probably going to come to roughly a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Depends how much salt you like. And probably about the same with the pepper. And I'm going to toss that together. I don't have the best tossing skills, let's face it. Then I'm going to pour this in over the top. I'm going to use my spoon to get every last drop. And again, I'm going to toss this together. I moved to a spoon from a spatula because I was struggling there with my spatula. Really toss this, and then it's going to simmer for about 5 minutes once you toss it completely. Okay, so this is simmered for about 5 minutes, and it's time for the last of our ingredients. Now, I would suggest taking a bite and seeing if you think it needs more salt and pepper. If it's super bland, you might want to add some. I took a bite off camera because I didn't want you guys to have to watch me chew. Didn't think that that was something you would want. So I'm going to salt and pepper now because I felt it need a little bit more. And then real quick, before I put the last 2 ingredients in here, I want to talk about them. So the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to squeeze the lime. And the last thing we'll do is brown sugar. Now, one night when I made this, I forgot the brown sugar because it's optional. The original recipe that I pulled off of and I adapted said it was optional. And I have to say, it made a huge difference. Like something about the brown sugar really brings out the flavors in this. So I would not opt out. Whether you use 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons is fine. And also, if this is a diabetic issue, you can get the Splenda mix that's sugar-free. So that's an option too. But I really think that it is what really makes the difference in this. So with that said, let's add our lime, mix, and then add the brown sugar and mix. Last bit out. Mix it up. And now last, the brown sugar. I like to put it in my hand and sprinkle it so I get it everywhere. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Sprinkle it all over. Now this is dark brown sugar. I've used light brown sugar. Doesn't matter which. In my opinion, it doesn't make that much of a difference in the taste of this. Just that you use one or the other. Now that I've done that, my hand is messy. So I'm going to go rinse it off real quick and then stir. All right, so the dish is done. Now this can be served by itself. You don't need anything else with it, but often it's served over white or brown rice. You could do miso soup on the side or a mushroom soup on the side. Another thing we do is we do edamame, and I just butter and salt it and serve it with soy sauce. That will be our side dish. So it's done. And now I am going to make you watch me chew just for a minute because I want to try it, make sure that what I've told you is correct and it tastes good. And let's see. It's still a winner. So I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I've enjoyed it, and you cook this and you have a new discovery for your kitchen as well. Until we meet again, please stay safe and please stay well. Bye.